So yeah, thank you again for joining us today and for your interest in the Artist Entrepreneur Program. Just so you know, this session is being recorded and we'll be posting it on our website shortly after its conclusion. As Caitlin said, feel free to post your questions in the chat and then we'll have time at the end for Q&A. We just ask maybe stay muted. In the meantime, I know sometimes my cat likes to get involved when I'm sitting down. So let's, yeah, stay muted until we open up the floor so we can get through all of the great information that we want to present today. I'm Rebecca Kinslow. I'm the Executive Director of the Oklahoma Visual Arts Coalition. And this is a new initiative for OVAC. We are a 35-year-old organization that has been dedicated to growing and developing Oklahoma's visual arts community. But we are absolutely thrilled to present this opportunity for artists across any discipline to develop professionally through this program that provides business development training, mentorship, community building, and really also the potential for financial investment in your businesses. We are also incredibly fortunate to have the partnership of the Alliance for Economic Development, Oklahoma Arts Management Solutions, and the Verge OKC, as we are all working together to make this program truly a transformative experience for its participants. Today, we are joined by Daisy Munoz from the Alliance. She's a project manager there. And also Caitlin Hardiman, who is the founder and senior consultant for Oklahoma Arts Management Solutions. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to them to introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about this program and their role in it. Daisy, would you like to take it over?
Yeah. If we can go to the next slide. Oh, I believe this one is still you, Rebecca, right?
Yeah, just if you want to introduce yourself,
Oh, I'm
say a
sorry.
little more about the
Yeah.
program, and then we'll
Yeah.
have Caitlin introduce herself, and then we'll get rolling on.
Awesome. Sorry.
No, you're
Sorry.
fine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Daisy Munoz, project manager for the Alliance. I've been working here for almost 3 years now. Started when the pandemic kind of started and have been working with small business programs ever since then. This idea really came from a couple of different accelerators that we already have here that we fund through the Alliance, like Stitch Crew, the OKC Latino Accelerator, OMFA, through Northeast Renaissance, The Real Deal through Matisse, Progress OKC. And this idea really came to life after joining the Oklahoma Arts Council leadership program and seeing just how many great artists we have here in the state and how there really are entrepreneurs and artists here and how we can merge those two ideas into one. And so that's how this program came to life. And I'm really excited to be partnered with OVAC and really excited to see my friends on this call and ready to see them apply and benefit from the great knowledge that Entrepreneur System has been working to share with everyone here in Oklahoma. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much to OVAC for partnering on this idea and making it come to life.
Thanks, Daisy. And hello, everyone. I am Caitlin Hardiman, the Senior Consultant for Oklahoma Arts Management Solutions. I am a PhD doctoral candidate in arts administration, as well as a professor at Oklahoma City University and Ohio University, where I have an opportunity to teach coursework on arts administration and how we as artists get to develop our business skills. And so I'm really excited to be able to take the classroom and apply it into a more practical manner and to actually bring it to artists in the field that are needing to have that business side developed and learn more about it. And So with that, I'm responsible for building out the AEP curriculum that we're going to be going over in just a couple of minutes later on in this presentation, so you know what to expect throughout the 10-week long program. And I'm also working alongside Rebecca and OVAC in just the project management aspect of making sure that we get all of our applications in and all of the programming set up and timetables running, and just kind of serving as an additional arm in the whole process.
Thank you, Caitlin and Daisy. I mean, really, Daisy is the inspiration behind this program, and without her, the Alliance and this American Rescue Plan funding from the city of Oklahoma City, this program wouldn't be possible. And of course, Caitlin is absolutely instrumental. So thank you both for all of your contributions for AEP. So we're just going to give you a brief overview of what the conversation is going to be today. We'll talk a little bit just briefly about what business accelerators are and how the Artist Entrepreneur Program is fashioned off of a business accelerator program. We'll go over the eligibility criteria for participating in the program. We'll discuss the timeline of application submissions and selections of the participants, and then get into more about the cohort details, like who or like where it'll happen, when it's going to happen, an overview of the curriculum, and then a pretty intensive look at the application components so that you understand what we're asking and why we're asking the things that we're asking that you need to submit for consideration in the program. And then again, we'll open it up for questions. So yeah, just quickly to go over like what a business accelerator is. And business accelerators are designed to propel early and mid-stage firms towards rapid growth. And this is done by offering mentorship with industry experts, an immersive training program, a network of professional peers that you can learn alongside with, and potential for financial investment. So again, it's really designed to accelerate your business development and operational success within a pretty condensed time frame, and connect you to the broader entrepreneurial community, which ultimately lays the groundwork for future success of your business. And so the AEP program is really designed to take this model of a business accelerator and address the specific needs and challenges that individual artists face. So what you can expect to experience in the Artist Entrepreneurship Program is the ability to develop your business plan. So you'll learn about very key business development practices like income generation, legal compliance, community building, marketing, and much, much more. It's also a wonderful opportunity to build a supportive community through collaboration with this peer-to-peer learning model and networking with like-minded professionals. You will have the opportunity to be mentored by leading industry experts who work with you to scale your business and integrate you into, again, this broader entrepreneurial ecosystem that exists in Oklahoma City, and it's very thriving. You will have the opportunity to pitch your plans to local entrepreneurs and business leaders at our culminating event, which will be a celebration of all that you've accomplished through the 10 weeks. And then at the end of the program, if you have successfully completed it, you'll be eligible to apply for a $5,000 grant to amplify your creative business. And that is through the generosity of the Alliance. And we'll talk more about that here shortly. And I'm going to kick it over to Daisy to talk a little more about the eligibility requirements.
Yes, thank you so much, Rebecca. Like Rebecca said, this program is funded through the Alliance in the city of Oklahoma City. So the Alliance is administering a portion of the ARPA funds, which is the American Rescue Plan funding by President Joe Biden to kind of stimulate the economy and recover from COVID. So these funds are very specific towards small businesses and entrepreneurs and trying to assist them in recovering. So there are some eligibility requirements for you to partake in the program and for you to receive the grant. So if you have been a practicing artist established within the physical location of Oklahoma City prior to March 3rd, 2021, then you can apply and you can be eligible to participate in this program and get the grant. So you do have to be in Oklahoma City because these funds are tied to the city because it is our allocation from the ARPA funds. And the date is set because you've had to be an artist or a practicing artist before COVID happened. And so that's why we have that date, that cutoff date. And you do have to maintain a for-profit business and you have to be registered with the state, with Oklahoma Secretary of State. So how do we know you're a business, right? This is how we can ensure that you are a business. And we understand that a lot of artists are sole proprietors or individuals who are not registered or who don't know that they should register themselves. But we do have some assistance with the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, that can help you register. And as long as you're registered before July 1st, 2024, you can still be eligible for this program. So if you don't have your business registered with the Secretary of State, no worries. You have till July 1st, 2024 to get that. And we do have resources available to you to teach you and take you step by step to gain that registration with the state of Oklahoma. And so then the last eligibility requirement for ARPA funding would be that you had to meet one of these qualifiers. The first one would be you had to be minority-owned business. So you have to be minority, and minority for this instance counts as it does not count women or veterans. It is only ethnicity and race-based. And the next one could be you can operate in a qualified census tract. So we Caitlin, can you go to the qualified census tract so we can show them how you can see if you live or if you work in a QCT? So we have this link in this map, and then it'll take you to this map of Oklahoma City. And if your address, your studio address or your home address, wherever you practice your, wherever your business is based off, is within one of these blue sectors, then you do live in a QCT and you do qualify and you are eligible for this program. And so we do have the link on the website and you can check to see if your address resides in one of those QCTs. The last way you can be eligible for this program is if you can demonstrate that you had a negative economic impact due to the pandemic. So this one, you can demonstrate that by showing proof that you either had jobs canceled, your employer let you go, let's say that they were making budget cuts just due to the pandemic, and you have proof of any communication like that, or if you have filed your taxes and you can show that you have a deficit from 2019 to 2020 and 2021, all those documents show as proof that you were negatively impacted by the pandemic, and that can count for you to be eligible for this program. So there's also a kind of a lot of other small fine print details down here that we can that are in the website and application. So you can't put a PO box as an address. And then also again talks about the documents that you can demonstrate to qualify. But just to reiterate, you have to be a practicing artist in Oklahoma City prior to March 3rd, 2021. You do have to maintain a for-profit status and be registered with the Oklahoma Secretary of State. And that can be before July 1st, 2024 of this year. And you do have to meet one of the criteria, which is A, minority-owned business, B, operating in a qualified census tract, which we have a map, and then C, demonstrate the negative impact due to the pandemic. And so once you can check all these 3 boxes, then you would be good to go and continue to the rest of the application, which we will talk about here in a bit. All right. So applications opened April 23rd. So if you have not yet seen the application, please go to OVAC's website and review the application, because there are other requirements for this program. We'll be holding a virtual sessions and office hours May 12th and the 21st. The applications will close May 28th, and then we will be screening and selecting applicants from June 3rd to July 5th. Applicants will be notified of acceptance no later than July 19th. And if you have any questions at all about the application, the eligibility requirements, feel free to message me or any of the OVAC staff, and we're here to help you. Be proactive. We have a timeline here. Put it in your calendar, in your agenda. This is a really great opportunity, and we don't want you to miss it just because you have questions about the eligibility or the application.
Alrighty, so I'm going to give an overview of what to expect during this cohort time if you are accepted into the program. So first, we have up to 20 spots available for practicing artists here in Oklahoma City. And we want to emphasize that you are a visual or performing artist, or maybe you're multidisciplinary. And so we're going to give some examples of what that means for each artist here in just a minute. But this program is going to take place specifically at The Verge. They are a project partner on this, and we are going to meet every Tuesday for 10 weeks between September 3rd, or starting September 3rd through November 5th. And that November 5th date is when the pitch night is going to happen. And so an overview of what our timeline is anticipated to look like during that time block. So we have from 5:30 to 6 is when you would arrive, and we'll have some peer networking available, some light bites for you to get settled in for us to start right at 6 o'clock. And so from 6 to 7:30, we will have a lecture / guest speakers that are speaking about a very specific topic around building out your business development plan. Then we'll take a small break, and then there'll be, throughout this program, you'll be building your business plan, essentially. So then you'll have specific assignments working towards that ultimate goal each week, that you'll be spending about 45 minutes either on independent work or group work, peer-to-peer learning during that time to build out some of your thoughts on that specific topic of the day. And then ending it, we will, from 8:30 to 9 will be a time for like independent reflections, question and answers, additional networking, or talking one-on-one with the speakers that were there that day. And so technically 6 to 8:30 is the time frame of learning. And then the times before and after are kind of this come and go, mix and mingle with your peers before things start and after they finish. And then, so again, November 5th is when the pitch night is going to happen. This is where you'll have an opportunity to pitch your business plan to the broader entrepreneurial community, whether you're looking for additional funding or insightful feedback, or simply just an opportunity to practice your elevator pitch. Then there's a few additional commitments throughout the program as well. There are going to be 2 almost like field trips in a sense to different art spaces or social networking events that will be conducted outside of the regular meeting times. And then you will also have opportunities to connect one-on-one with your mentor outside of the class time. And then after the program is finished, we will have some follow-up questions for reporting, essentially, on how were you impacted by the program once the program has concluded. So an overview of the weekly topics we're going to be discussing. The first week will be an overview of arts and entrepreneurship. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? How do you see yourselves as a business professional in the arts, and how can you begin to articulate that? Successful business planning is figuring out what is your business structure? How do you want your business structure to grow and evolve over time? Then thinking about marketing. And then funding, fundraising, and grant writing. That's really looking at income generation here across different business entities, because each type of entity will require a different type of revenue generation strategy. And then we'll also have time to hear from legal experts on what should you be considering as a business, both as an artist, thinking of things like copyright law, and then also just as a business owner, what things should you be considering when it comes to the legal aspect. Then we'll be going over some finance and money management that will include things like taxes and how should you be structuring your bank accounts and things of that nature. Then we'll provide an opportunity to look at the arts and cultural landscape as a whole to understand this larger picture of how does the arts ecosystem operate locally, statewide, and across the nation, and how you fit into that in this entrepreneurial role. Then an opportunity to figure out, okay, as we scale, what is my organizational design? What type of staff do I need to hire? Do I need to hire staff at any point? And then how will this evolve my career? And then what are we seeing in future trends? And then the 9th week is an opportunity to be practicing your pitch. And then week 10 is going to be that final pitch night and final ceremony. So I'm going to give an overview of the application, and you'll be able to see the very specific questions that are being asked. And it's divided into 5 different parts: contact information, demographic, eligibility, program commitment, and supporting documentation. So the first part A is pretty general. It asks for your name, your address, city, state, zip, county, email, phone number, and then it asks for a website. And I want to pause here and just reiterate for a moment, not everyone, we acknowledge, has a website, but any type of social media content, if it's your Instagram or your LinkedIn or your Facebook page, you can feel free to upload that. It doesn't have to be an official website. If by chance you have none of that and need help, please come see me during our office hours, and I can talk you through how to develop a landing page that's free, just to be able to incorporate that into your application. Then part B is looking at our demographic questions. What do you identify as, both in size, gender, female, male, non-binary, transgender, two-spirit, not listed here, or prefer not to answer. And then looking at if you identify as ace, asexual, bisexual, gay, lesbian, queer, straight, not listed, prefer not to answer. And then your ethnicity and race over here. And then we just love to know what tribe, if you are First American, we would love to know what tribe you're affiliated with, but it's not required if you prefer not to answer there. And then if you are a person with disabilities, we do encourage you to apply. And if by chance you require any accommodations in the program, also feel free to let us know that as well. So that way we can ensure that we are properly accommodating whatever your requests are. And then what is your age range? And then part C is our application specific questions. What is your business name? If you're not yet registered, think about what names are not yet taken. Or for now, you can put your artist name, and then we can adjust that moving forward. Your physical business address, as a reminder, this business address has to be within the qualified census tract areas. So be mindful of that.
Can I
Yeah.
this? It has to be within Oklahoma City, and if you want to
Yeah.
qualify with the operating in a QCT, then that's when it is in a QCT. But yes, Oklahoma City address.
Sorry, I got those confused for a moment. Oklahoma City address, and I want to use the example here that, for example, I live technically in Yukon, but I have Oklahoma City water. And so because I have Oklahoma City utilities, I am qualified for this program. And so if you have a question about that, there is another link that is in the application process for you to look up. Am I in an Oklahoma City or considered an Oklahoma City resident? Especially if I'm on the outskirts where I'm not really sure, but that utility idea of if you have OKC utilities is a great way to check yes or no in that box. And then again, ask for our business website, business description. Be mindful of our character counts down here, 250 characters. This switches between characters and words. And so this can just be, I am a dance artist in Oklahoma City with a dance studio, so it can just be a very one sentence description. Are you registered with the state of Oklahoma? Yes or no? If not, this is a mistypo here. This is really July 1st, 2024, not August, but it's already fixed on the application. And then when was your business established? And then your business revenues. And that can be your estimated business revenues. So taking your tax returns, things like that, what has been the sum that you expect based off of past trends there. And then checking off the box of which area are you operating in here. We would love to know if you have any physical locations operating outside of the Oklahoma City limits, if you have more than one location, and be listing that here. And then understanding what is your business ownership structure. Are you a sole proprietor? Are you an LLC? Things of that nature, listing it here. Do you have any outstanding liens or judgments? This is important for, man, the word has left my mind, but essentially, does your spouse or family member within the household work for Oklahoma City Urban Renewal Authority, the Alliance for Economic Development, or the City of Oklahoma City? And then just be able to list that conflict of interest. There we go. Be able to list their names. As long as it's noted, then it doesn't work against you. We just need to be made aware to ensure that there is no conflict of interest in going through the application. If you've received federal funding from COVID, if you've been able to receive that, and then what the federal funding for COVID related expenses. Sorry, I'm reading this for a second. Okay, so whatever you might be, Daisy, I don't know if you want to speak into this or not.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take that over for me.
Yes. So if you received any COVID related grants like PPP, or if you applied for a grant through the Oklahoma Arts Council, and if you received that, then we would like to have the information, just because for the federal government's there's regulations on where you can't receive money from COVID dollars for the same item. A lot of these questions are just regulatory questions that we need to ask for the program, but mostly will be no. And just because a lot of these programs were not created towards artists, or created towards kind of like more like brick and mortar businesses, but since there is funding for artists, just make sure that if you did receive some type of grant in that vein, to please write it down here. But for instance, do you have any additional businesses addresses located outside of Oklahoma City? That would probably be no. And so just keeping in mind that these are just regulatory questions we need to ask per the funding. But if you did receive a grant through the Oklahoma Arts Council, or through any other art organization, or just any COVID funding, just please note it, just because we need to have that information in our records.
Thank you, Daisy, for providing more in-depth details to that. And then we just love to know what your artistic discipline is for this program. We do provide examples. We say visual and performing arts. We say dance, music, jewelry makers, but if you see yourself as an artist that maybe isn't specifically said, reach out. But most likely, if you're considering yourself an artist, you are an artist. And even if we don't specify your modality, I want to encourage you to know that the application is still open and available for you. And then part D is really looking at the application questions, learning more about you as an artist and why you're interested in the program. Again, looking at these word limits here. First is, why are you interested in the AEP program? What challenges are you facing with your current business that you'd like to solve through participating in this program? How do you plan to apply the knowledge from the program to enhance your creative practice? And if selected, how will you manage your commitment to the program alongside other obligations? And this is also really helpful for us as we think of speakers. We have an idea of some speakers we want to bring in, and assigning mentors. We want to make sure that we're bringing in the people and assigning the mentors to you that are most optimal to help you achieve your goals. And so that's going to look different for everyone in this process, depending on what they want to achieve. And so we're really wanting to make sure that we can tailor a lot of these things to you and your specific needs here. And then lastly are supporting document uploads. So we need some examples of your artwork samples, which we'll go over on the next slide in a moment. Your resume or CV, your artist bio, your proof of business, which we will also look at in 2 slides from now, and then supporting documents that are your proof of eligibility here. So thinking of our work samples, that will look different depending on your artistic modality. These are just examples of what your work samples might include, but if it's not listed on here, but it's a different approach, feel free to also use that. Or if you have a question, come to our open office hours to ask. So for visual artists, you might want to include uploading high resolution photographs of your painting or prints. If you're a sculptor, maybe you want different angles of the work that you've created. If you're a photographer, a portfolio of digital images of different styles of landscapes and portraits. Dancers, you might want to upload a high quality recording of one of your performances. That can be you as a solo dancer or an ensemble piece, or it might even be some of your choreography that you've set on individuals that you want to highlight. It might be rehearsal footage. And whenever I say rehearsal footage, it could also be you teaching a class. And so I used the example earlier, if you're looking to open up a dance studio or you have a dance studio and you need to leverage up that business, we would love to see you as a teacher. And what does that look like? What is your teaching style? Or you might upload some photographs that capture you in action in either a performance or maybe they're still poses. Musicians, you might want to upload audio recordings if you have, or even links to your Spotify accounts of your sessions, or if you have any video performances, or also if you have sheet music that maybe you've not been able to get professionally recorded, but you have it written, or lyrics. If you like, if you have any of those that are your own original work, you can upload that as well. Mixed in digital media, graphic designers, you might upload your work of posters or logos or book covers. Digital artists, you might think of things like your animations or interactive media projects like web designs or games. Filmmakers, you might consider uploading clips from films or documentaries that highlight storytelling or your direction and visual style. And then cinematographers, reels demonstrating various filming techniques, lighting setups, and cinematic perspectives. And then actors and scriptwriters, you might consider uploading a monologue. You might consider uploading a performance you might have done from a theater production, film, TV show that highlights your character. And then, or if you're also a script writer here, you can upload a PDF of an original script or scene written by yourself. And then these are just some examples of what your proof of business will include. And so one is a contract. If you have any contracts that you have, you can upload that to the mix. Your articles of incorporation with the state you can upload, or you can upload your tax return into the application.
Yeah, and then can I add that insurance as well can cover as proof of business examples, any kind of just document that demonstrates that you have had jobs or that you participate in events as an artist, anything like that that can serve to demonstrate that you are out here working as an artist and that you are a business.
Thanks, Daisy. And then so if you have any question whatsoever, or if you need help or going through your application, we have three dates, three times available for you just to pop into an open office hours. The first one will be May 12th from 12 to 1. And then the next May 21st from 12 to 1, and then another from 5:30 to 6:30. So if you have any questions or unsure about what you're uploading, we will be there. You don't need to register. You can just drop in, ask your question, and then leave once your question is answered. There's no need to stick around. And then I think that is, Cynthia, I see your question. There's going to be links that we will have available on the website. And so we'll have kind of two options. One, a pre-register, like if you know, oh, I really need to attend this, let me pre-register so I get that reminder. But then also being able to just click the link as well when it's time for you to hop in, and it will be on the website at the on OVAC's website on specifically the artist entrepreneurship page. And if Daisy or Rebecca don't have anything else to add, we can open up the floor for questions.
I would like to add that applications, some applications sometimes can be daunting or intimidating, but in all honesty, this program is created for those artists who are emerging, for those artists who need that assistant to get more mural jobs, to get more just jobs in general, more grants. So we're asking these questions because we want to make sure that you are working towards your art career or practicing your discipline. And so what we're trying to get from these questions is just seeing that there is effort from your part. And we're super excited to see all the different applicants and all the amazing art that gets created here in Oklahoma. And so once again, just stating, don't be intimidated by the eligibility requirements or by the application. If you have any questions, please join the sessions and we'll help you answer them. And if you have more questions after that, I'm available as well, and I can share my contact information.
Awesome. Well, for a moment, I will stop sharing. And if you have a question, feel free to turn off your mic and ask, or pop it in the chat box. Taylor, those are really great questions. To answer the broad question, there is a rubric that we will have trained. We will have panel reviewers, and those reviewers are going to be trained specifically on what to be looking for, and they will be provided with a very specific rubric that we will make available on our website in the next couple of days, so you know specifically the guidelines that they're using to score essentially. And I know that we're trying to be really diligent to ensure that there is a wide array of disciplines operating in the program. So it's not going to be a matter of the top, let's say we have, oh, how do I word this? It's not going to be a matter of the top 20 applicants who score, but a matter of how it's divided based off of visual and performing arts, and then taking the top applicants from those two disciplines to ensure that we have a wide reach and representation there, as well as breaking it down further into those three areas of eligibility, of who's in a qualified census tract, who is a minority-owned business, and who's demonstrated a loss of financial revenue, to ensure again that we're not just targeting one specific group across eligibility and artistic median, but that it's kind of spread across the board. But I will let Rebecca and Daisy chime into that question as well.
Yeah, and Daisy, do you want to talk a little bit? So again, we'll have a panel of folks to review the applications, score them according to the various criteria. That will give OVAC a list of folks to recommend that we will send to the Alliance. And then Daisy, do you want to talk about what happens after we give you our recommended list? So, you know, up to 20, and then we'll have a wait list.
Yeah, so we'll get the 20 names. I'll review the requirements on my behalf for ARPA. So making sure you're either minority owned, you live in a QCT, or you can prove that you were economically impacted by COVID and that you're in Oklahoma City. And that if you're not registered with the state as a business, that you will be. So I make sure all those requirements are met. And then from there, if they're not, we try to get in contact with the artist, and if it's just like the being registered with the state, I get in contact with them and then try to help them get registered. But if it's like you're not in Oklahoma City, then we would move on to the next person who's on the wait list and then submit that name. And then after I do the review again for that person, then I will take it to the city, and then the city reviews them as well, and then they approve, and then you get your acceptance letter. So that's how that process goes. So it's tiered, but I would say that for the qualifications specifically for the program as an artist, that will be up to the panel reviewers. And I would say probably my recommendation is to put effort into the application. I through the Alliance, we manage a couple of programs, and I've seen a couple of applications. And I manage the grant program as well. And I would say that just putting effort and putting your heart into it and showing that you care and it's your passion, like that carries a lot of the applications through. And those are the ones that shine. So I would just recommend that. Yes.
And I'd love to add one more thing to that as well. And I hope I don't speak prematurely, so I apologize. This is the first time that we've done this program, and the first time that the Alliance has supported a program like this, and we're really excited about it. So really, it's a case sample, more or less, to where if we see a lot of really qualified people submitting, that just shows this really big need and this gap that needs to be filled, that will then inform how this program might continue over time. And so I just want to put that out there as well, of put in your best work and know that it's also a small opportunity to advocate for the arts as a whole and how the program can sustain and build over time.
I see Cynthia's question. The March 2021 active artist criteria is a bit blurry. Would I still be eligible if I was creating art but not selling it? Do we need to provide proof that we were active during that period? I would say you need to provide proof that you were active during that period. So you might have been creating art, but what were you doing to kind of pursue like an art career, or show that you were like putting yourself out there? Were you doing pop-up events? Were you selling online? Were you on social media? How are you being proactive? Kind of being able to demonstrate that. Were you doing events? Any partnerships, collaborations with anybody? Those are all things that you can try to demonstrate that you were a practicing artist before March 2021.
This is Rachel Hart.
Yes.
Hi, thank you for doing this. I'm Luis Miguel Barajas, and we're doing a little watch party with some other artists in the Plaza office. Thank you for doing this. Luis had a question you want to ask.
Yeah, I don't want to skip over Atticus though. I think they wanted to ask a
Oh,
question.
did they? Sorry.
So if you want to answer theirs, and then I can ask mine.
Atticus, would taking an art class qualify us for the March 2021 deadline? You kind of have to demonstrate that you are operating as a business, right? So like, are you getting jobs? Are you, like I said again, like pop-up shops, anything like that? So the whole premise of this program passed under as artists are small businesses, they are entrepreneurs, they are working here. So that's kind of like the line that you can try to see if you were taking those steps as an entrepreneur, putting yourself out there, collaborations, trying to get jobs, applying for grants. That's what I would say, refer to those kind of thoughts to see if you can apply to this program. Because I think right now, unfortunately, taking an art class wouldn't be enough to say that you were actively pursuing this as an entrepreneur or as a small business or as a career. And it can be as small as like selling your stuff online, going to festivals, doing pop-up shops. But yes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Luis, or you can call me Tapatio. I'm a drag artist in Oklahoma City, and I run a lot of queer events. One of my main goals is to make sure I support trans, non-binary, and BIPOC entertainers in the queer hemisphere of Oklahoma City. The question I have is in regards to being a smaller artist. I've been operating for about 5-6 years. I've worked with like Plaza, I've worked with Pride in the Park, Zichel Park. I've worked across the country. I've even done my own pop-up shows and I do my own marketing and all this stuff. However, I don't really have any legitimacy. I've done it all under the table. I don't have an LLC. I'm not a sole proprietor. I'm really interested in this program because I would love to gain more information on how to legitimize my business. Because it is a business. I manage entertainers, I do marketing, I collaborate with venues, I work with festivals. And I have done like some documentation with like W-9s or things like that, but I don't have my own business. They typically pay me on the table or directly. I want to legitimize my business and my practices. Would I be eligible for this program? Or how could I make the steps to become eligible?
I would say you're probably one of the prime candidates that we're trying to target for this program, right? So someone who's been practicing for a while, who just needs kind of like the business structure and the knowledge. So I would say you do have items. You have flyers, you have posts, you have probably emails, text messages that can help you kind of show that you are practicing and that you are operating as a business and you are doing business, right? So it's kind of gathering those things like your flyers that you're promoting, you know, your artist, and kind of sitting down and like writing those events that you have done and those like naming those partners that you do have, those collaborations, and writing them down on your resume, and that demonstrates to us that you are, you know, that you are active and you are performing and that you are a sole proprietor, because it's just you have no that's your legal structure. It's just you, right? As an individual. So I would say that you are one of the, like, your example is what we're looking for, right? Artists who are practicing who need just a little bit more guidance on the business nature of the art industry.
Okay, cool.
And I want to chime in. I pulled up the Secretary of State website. Is this really just a moment where an artist like Luis needs to take some time to register a sole proprietorship with the Secretary of State in order to meet the eligibility requirement?
Yes, and then the deadline would be July 1st for that. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know approximately how long it takes to register a sole proprietorship?
Not that long. It takes a couple of days to process, but they give you like your receipt like right there and then. I think it's like, I'm not sure how much the price is to that. But you get your receipt and then it gets processed like 3 days after max. As long as you can provide like your receipt, that shows us enough that you did file it.
Heck yeah. And I'm really excited about this opportunity if it's something that's accessible to people like me, because I feel like a lot of the times people like me don't take this step because we're afraid. I'm afraid of the legalities, maintaining paperwork. What if I collaborate? I'm a drag entertainer. I do a lot of like queer artist management as well, making sure I go through the right mediums to pay my people. But when it's time to file taxes or when it's time to make a contract, how do I do that ethically and also manage everything that anyone's trusting me with, and also submitting everything to the IRS that I need to submit to? Because I have all the ideas for good business plans, but I want to make sure it looks like very perfect and legal on paperwork. And so thank you guys for this. And is that something that we'll be learning? I think I saw some of that okay.
Yep. Everything you're sharing right now is really what we're wanting to make sure we're equipping all participants with. And each artist is going to come in with their own unique thing, with their own unique structure, which is why we're being really intentional to making sure that we can tailor things to your specific needs. So if we know that you're coming in of like, I really need to make sure that I know how to get these contracts in order for managing artists, like that is something that we can have on our radar to make sure that we are pairing you with someone that is excellent at that and excels at that. And then Daisy, idea over here that you can say yes or no, but just knowing that you're sitting right next to Rachel and you're saying that you worked alongside Plaza with something like a letter from an executive director saying, hey, they did work with us as an artist during this time frame, be something that they can submit as a proof of eligibility.
Yeah, that's proof of operations that you're a business, you're a sole proprietor, you're doing business, and of course, that would definitely serve as that.
Daisy, do you think it's also fair? And thank you again for that question, Tapatio. I've seen you perform and you're amazing. Thinking about volunteering, right? And to absolutely, you think that's fair, Daisy, to say like include that in your resume that, you know, even if you've done your work pro bono, lawyers do it, accountants do it, right?
Artists do it a lot without getting paid.
Yeah. And we want artists to not have to do that, right? That's the whole point of this, unless you want to, but you should also be able to make a living off of your amazing art forms. So that question, and we'll be posting an FAQ on our website, and that's your question is very helpful for us to even include more specific language to help artists connect the dots and see themselves as part of this program.
Thank you. I have another question about eligibility. So I've been working in Oklahoma City as an artist since like 2019, 2020. But the specific type of art that I'm now doing for my current business is completely different, like a different medium. So, and I think if I remember right, Caitlin, when you were showing us the application, the March 2020 eligibility was just like a yes or no question. So how do we prove that, you know, I've been working as an artist? Does it matter that the medium is different today? I just want to know, like, when I'm, you know, putting the work and time into this application, I want to make sure that I'm eligible before I, you know, embark on that.
I don't think it really matters so much if your art has evolved, like that's wonderful and great. That will not be held against you. Absolutely. And I'll just jump in. If I understood your question correctly, you know, the yes or no questions around those three criteria with minority owned, census tract, and negatively impacted by COVID, what you'll do is, and we do encourage you to select all that apply because particularly if it's more than one, that just helps us in like verifying eligibility later. And if it's one, that's fine too. But my point is later on in the supporting documents is where you will provide that evidence. And again, things like that, what we're talking about, if it's under negatively impacted financially by COVID, the, you know, tax returns and other things. And we'll add some more clarification again in the FAQs and in the application itself about that. But that supporting documentation area is where we'll be looking for the evidence of the yes, no checkbox, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Did I answer all your questions?
I believe so. Yeah, thanks.
And again, we're here for you. All of us are here to advocate for you. I mean, in the previous role, when I worked with an artist grant process, I even at times sat down with people and helped them fill out their application. So we're happy to be of assistance in any way that we can.
Is it possible to reach out before the middle of May for questions? Like who do we reach out to if we need help filling it out?
Yeah, I will go back to sharing my screen really fast because on the next one it has contact information. Really, I'm going to be the direct point of contact, and then I know that Daisy and Rebecca and all of the OVAC team are available to jump in. Can you guys see my screen? You see my PowerPoint? Great. Here we go. So if you have any additional questions, here's a email address that you can message ovac.aep@gmail.com, and me, Rebecca, and the OVAC team and those that have their hands in this all have access to this email to make sure that we can stay on top of it. And of course, if you need to schedule a one-on-one beforehand and ask a more in-depth question, we are more than happy to do that for you.
And I haven't been able to find on Google the census tract just for Oklahoma City. Do you have a link for that? Because all the ones I'm finding are like federal, like districts, Google Sheets.
Yeah, it should be attached if you go to the application on the website, and it might even be on the main page of, they'll all be linked. Rebecca, I think you did that. Do you want to speak more into that?
Yeah, Caitlin, will you pull up our AEP webpage since you've got control of sharing the screen?
I've also put it on the chat.
Thank you.
Yes.
But on our webpage, you'll see the eligibility in that yellow box. And you'll see you can click on Oklahoma City limits for the map that we talked about to see if your address is within the limits of the city of Oklahoma City. And then scroll down a little bit. And if you click on the qualified census tract,
Okay.
for me, it pulls up Oklahoma City. And those blue areas that we showed earlier are the ones that that are considered qualified in a census tract.
And then you just go to the right in the little search button, and then you could type in your address, and then it'll tell you.
There you go. I also want to point out we have the eligibility checklist that we showed earlier in a button kind of under the application section. So again, if if I know I'm a visual person, so we created that for also for you to check back. Hopefully that's a little easier to read through the eligibility requirements and understand if you've met all of the criteria.
And those are also hyperlinked in here as well. If you open up the PDF, those links. Any other questions here?
All right.
I'll go back to Rebecca. Oh, I didn't want to go all the way back to the beginning. That's my fault. But I know that we want to make one additional shout out while I go through my
Yeah, and again, just thank you so much to our organizational partners in making this happen. Again, Oklahoma Arts Management Solutions with Caitlin, Daisy, and the team at the Alliance, the City of Oklahoma City for providing this funding, and the Verge OKC, who will serve as our host. And then I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that there are annual supporters of OVAC that also help cover costs like paper and keeping our lights on, and those include George Kaiser Family Foundation, Allied Arts, Oklahoma Arts Council, the National Endowment for the Arts, and Kirkpatrick Family Fund. So it takes a village, right? And we're just so grateful that you all are here, and looking forward to receiving your applications. Again, reach out if you have any questions, and thank you again for your time today.
Thank you, everyone. And share this with your friends. Share this with any artist you know. This is a great opportunity. So please share this.
Thank you so much. Bye, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a great Friday, Thursday. Today's Thursday. Look at
You
me
too.
jumping ahead.